Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Bahasham Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you I say Shalom. This is the brother Yeshaya coming at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. Back again with another lesson. And this is going to be a little short one. Don't really got much to go into. Figure I'll go into this real quick. All right. Lord willing, this be edifying. But pretty much going to go into the topic of how the Lord's hand is not shortened. Right. And especially in these times that we're coming into, where things is about to get harder on the elect, because that's mainly who the Most High is coming to deliver. Right. And those miracles that we're about to see soon is going to be shown forth through his elect. Right. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start off with Isaiah 59 and verse 1. It says, "Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear." Right. So in these times that we're coming into, man, hey, we're going to need divine intervention, right? We're going to need that help from on high, right? When you go into the book of Daniel, was it the 12th chapter? In the first verse, it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time." Right. So the times that we're coming into, what the scriptures call Jacob's trouble, right? This time is going to be like none other in the period, of history, right? There's no other period in history that we can be able to compare this time to, man, right? Of course, we read about, 70 AD, we read about certain captivities, you know what I'm saying? But you got to understand that this time is going to be a very dreadful and terrible time, especially now since Esau has reached his the fullness of his blessing, right? Because we're coming to that time where he's about to reach the fullness of his blessing. But as we know, he has bounds that he cannot pass, right? There's a certain limit and a time restraint that he has to accomplish his goal, which we understand he's not going to be able to, just sit back, and chill in his glory. No, the Most High is going to disappoint him, right? By sending his son Yahushua, right? But terrible times is going to come unto our people, unto our nation, right? Which are you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? Which make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Y'all are the enemy of this man Esau, and Esau is our enemy, right? Which most of y'all don't even understand. When we tell y'all that Esau is the devil that the Bible speaks of, y'all still think that Esau is this good, or the narrative that's being painted nowadays that Esau, he changed, he's a good guy now, he's for equal rights and all this and that, but not knowing that the horns is about to come out, right? And we're about to see, all y'all, 2/3 ass niggas that voted for Trump, that voted for, Biden, that voted for Obama, that voted and still out there, protesting for equal rights, instead of coming to your Lord. Because the scriptures talk about how, the name of the Lord is a strong tower and the righteous run into it and are safe, right? Your protection is not going to be by you casting your vote in the polls, right? Hoping that the right candidate shows up, right? Your protection is in the Lord. And you over here seeking to your these governors, these mayors, your princes, as the scriptures call them, there's going to be no help from them. Your help is going to come from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? But we understand this is only for a few, right? The scriptures say, what is it in Romans 11 and verse 7? As a matter of fact, let me get it. Romans 11 and verse 7. It says, "What then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election had obtained it, and the rest were blinded." You see? So only the elect are going to be able to receive this truth, right? And come back unto the Lord and receive of that mercy, receive of those of that protection, right? The rest of Israel is going to be blinded. They can't see what we're talking about. They can't perceive. They can't understand it, right? Which is likened unto a blind man. Here it is, things, the sun's about to set, and you're about to be, just out there in the darkness with no light. A light, which is this truth, right? As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. I think it's Psalms 119. Psalms 119. Bear with me. I can't remember exactly where it's at. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay, Psalms 119 and 105. So it says, Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. You see, so the elect, they're going to have that light to navigate through this dark times. But 2/3 of y'all ain't going to have that light. Y'all going to be as blind men, right? Y'all ain't going to know where to go. Y'all ain't going to know what to do. No answers. You ain't going to know what's going on. This is why the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night to most of y'all, right? But going back to my point, my original point, going back to Daniel 12, this times that we're coming into, we're going to need divine intervention, right? And again, as I entitled this video, the Lord's hand is not shortened. We're about to see miraculous things, man. Things we read about in the scriptures, with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? When they went into the fire, they were tossed into the fire, right? That fire should have consumed them instantly. But whenever they came out, not one hair was singed, man. Not even the clothes had the smell of smoke on it. And what do you think the guards and Nebuchadnezzar or whoever it was, whenever they saw them, right? They were amazed. They were like, "Whoa, what the hell?" It killed the two guards, right? That threw them in there, but it didn't kill them because Yahweh Shah was with them. And in this times, we're going to see uh, true divine intervention, man. We're about to see the same intervention that we've seen back that we experienced, that our forefathers experienced back then. We're about to experience this now, right? But it says, and like I said, the Most High's hand is not short, so He can deliver you out of anything. But the point is to never lose hope, never lose that faith, right? Scriptures talk about how it says, "Be faithful unto death," right? In the face of death, man, you still got to remain faithful unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? So continuing on, it says Daniel 12 and 1, and around the middle part, it says, "Such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, that people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." So this is all due to predestination at the end of the day, right? But the Most High is going to show his power through them, by delivering them, and He's going to show us His power, right? By getting us out of various situations, right? Now let's get Romans 11. I know I was already there, but let me get this in the top part. Romans 11 and verse 2, it says, "The Most High had not cast away His people which He foreknew." You see? So the Most High is with us. The Most High didn't cast us away. Otherwise, why would He have given us His word? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? The understanding of prophecy, man, right? It says, "What ye not what the scripture saith of Elias," right? Elijah, how he maketh intercession to the Most High, or how he maketh intercession to the Most High against Israel, saying, "Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life," right? Because we're going to come through, persecution. We're going to come face to face through these same things that our forefathers went through, man, right? But it says, verse 4, "But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal." Right? So there's going to be a number that's not going to bend the knee, right? In the face of this whole, lockdown that they're talking about now, right? Digital ID it's about to be implemented, right? Because with that digital ID being implemented, that means that they're going to start restricting things. Meaning you're going to have that digital ID in order to eat, in order to receive, a certain stimulus check, in order to receive, any form of aid, right? In order to operate within a society and in this current system or the system that they're trying to bring online, right? You're gonna be monitored, you're gonna be tracked, you're gonna be traced, and that's how you're gonna have to live from here on forth. And soon they're gonna implement that MOTB, right? That the microchip, that RFID microchip, right? Which is gonna be implanted under your skin, right? That's the end goal of Esau, to have everybody tracked and traced. And now you with this micro C hip, you're gonna be branded as their property. They're gonna own you. You see, like cattle. But verse 5 going down, Romans 11 and 5, we understand that, or Romans 11 and 4 right here, right? It says 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So there's a remnant that's not going to bend the knee. Now it says 7,000, but really it's just a complete number, right? Which are the elect. They're not going to bend the knee to the image, to Esau, right? To the image of Baal, right? But it says, even so then, this is verse 5, even so then at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. So even at this time, you have a remnant, you have an election, right? Whom the Most High is dealing with. Now, let's get 2nd Ezra 16. And I'm going to close it off with this. Like I said, I didn't want to make this too long. I want to make, a little short edification, exhortation, right? That's what it's all about. But this is 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. As I mentioned, right, you're going to have persecution. The times that we're coming into is deadly and deadly serious, which is why we take this serious, right? But it says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So they're going to be searching for us, right? Because they're going to have the digital ID and they're going to have everybody, enlist. Okay, these are the people who haven't taken it. These are the people who is not uh, 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 um, uh, pretty much abiding by what we're saying. Here are the people who are not, you know, uh, uh, submitting unto our new rule, unto our new system, right? So they're gonna be looking for us. They're gonna call us extremists. They're gonna call us, terrorists. They're gonna, man, every book, every name that they're gonna come out with, man, is just gonna be a means to try to, you know, pretty much label us this type of hate group that needs to be extinguished, that needs to be persecuted, that needs to, be locked up and thrown in jail, right? But verse 71, it says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So they're going to be like madmen, man. They're going to be crazy looking for us. You're going to have snitches. You're going to have your family turn on you. You're going to have friends turn on you, right? They're going to take us out of our houses, take away our goods, which is why we always say, even though you have all this, you're storing up food. No, it's wise, you know what I'm saying, to be prepared for something, but that shouldn't be your end all be all. That shouldn't be how you feel like, oh, I'm secure now, or I'm safe now. That's going to deliver you. No, your deliverance comes from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, because he's the one that's writing the script. He already has it written down how your walk is going to go, right? So you got to be praying to the Lord that He shows you mercy, right, in these times that we're coming into. And you really you got to set your mind right, man. Right? You gotta, like we read in Psalms 119, right? I believe it's let me get that real quick. You gotta cleanse your ways. You gotta become a new man. Psalms 119, verse 9, it says, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. So you gotta take heed to this word, Jake. That's the only way you're gonna be able to receive that protection of the Lord, right? If you cleanse yourself, put off the ways of Babylon, right? And put on the ways of the Lord. All right. scriptures talk about be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So your mind has to be, rewired. You have to be corrected, right? But that starts from within. So going back to Second Ezra 16 and 73, it says, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, when they shall be tried as the gold in the fire." Right? Because right now we haven't gone through that testing yet. We're in the preliminary phases, man. Right? We're in the preliminary phases. We're just getting started with this, right? And like the scripture says, "He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved." So we don't know who the elect are, right? But we're hoping and we're trying hard as hell to be part of that elect. You see? But we understand that the elect, they're not going to fold. They're going to remain faithful unto the Lord all the way into the end, right? But again, that's where the salvation is going to come in. Your faith is going to determine if the Lord's going to deal with you or not. You see? So anyway, I pray this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well, peace and blessings into the hopeful elect, pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm going to say Shalom, Kwam Yasha Allah.